Hello everyone, and welcome back to 4KB Shorts Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program with Kerbal Space Adventures. Woohoo! Okay, so now that we've finally gotten a mining unit out there on the out there on Drez. Ooh, that's too tiny. That is too tiny. It is time to get a fuel transport out there. Yeah, we need to get a fuel transport out there. Now, I had a couple of ideas, none of them good. I did. I've been really trying hard not to overdo this, and in my head I keep trying to overdo it, and that's not good. I think maybe we'll use the remote guidance unit again. I like how tall it is. I do. I like how tall it is in comparison to the bump. Even though the bump is cool, it is very cool and very good for probage. Not super great when it comes to attaching things to it. Because of that, we're going to do something like this. Oh yeah, so now this one, aha, see? Now before I was yelling at myself going, you don't need one of those, aha, but this one I do. This one you do need a Kerbal container of some kind, because we will need a Kerbin to come down and get the fuel, because that's the only way the fuel system works. So, I was looking at all these little different engines that we have, and this one's kind of awesome. It's a Rockomax 487S, a cousin of the 2477. The 487S is a stack-mounted probe engine that packs quite a punch, and it has a power of 20. Look at that tiny thing. Isn't that cute? And it's like, what? The reason I'm doing this is because what we need is we need a couple of things. Now those things would be something along the lines of, I don't know, solar panels. Okay. So if this thing were going to fly, and it is, the way it's going to fly is like so. Alright, so it's 1.4 tons. It has a thrust surface to weight ratio of 1.45, which is great. But it needs to carry fuel back, and it's not going to carry this fuel back. That would be insanity. Why would you even think about that? No, it's not going to carry that fuel back. We are going to put, however, some other items. Here it is. This is what I'm looking for. So you say what, 4 of these? Not Z, Z is the wrong button. X. So like that, right? Now this is just a preliminary design, you know, because I haven't designed this, I haven't touched it. I have no idea what to do with it or how to make it work. RCS tank, teeny tiny RCS tank, cute. Probably not as useful as we need, especially if this is going to be a refueling truck. Something along the lines of that, you think? Yeah. So once again, I'm just slapping parts together right now. I haven't even thought about this design really. So we need a clamp to clamp on. So there's that. All right, now we need the fuel. And the fuel would be what? You know, if there's a way to do it. But see, the problem with these is these are like 36 by 44, which is actually less than this tiny tank. But these big tanks, look at this. They're huge. They're gigantic. They would be pointless. They're awesome. And if they carried more, I'd just strap a bunch of these to it and be like, done. But they don't. They carry only a very tiny bit. So, we have to use a slightly different fuel tank. And I'm thinking something along the lines of this. Yeah, something like that. And each one of these carries 180 by 220. And that's by 4, so that's 400 and something by 800 and something. And that's not a bad haul. But our surface thrust to weight ratio just dropped down to 0.18. Now if we do something silly like this, we're back up to 0.69 and we're at 11 tons. But we're now using up the fuel we need to get back to the surface. So, as you can see, it's going to take a little bit of work because we have to figure out a way to get this from the hammer to the ground, and then from the ground back to the hammer without using up all the fuel we pick up. And how do we do that? How? Gotta think. Think. Let's fiddle about some more, I think. The LV990 carries 50, and that gives us what? 1.25. That's pretty beastie, but we're still light now because we're at 1.25 versus the alternative. Why am I doing that way? Well, That would probably be better, I think, because that way it gives us kind of an edge-ish. Hmm. There might be another way to do this. But like I said, I'm trying to avoid doing certain things. I'm trying to avoid using certain parts that should not be used for this particular endeavor. Like, we don't... Wow, that's small. But it's a two-man Kerbal pod, isn't it? Yeah. And it's heavier, I think. This is 0.6 by 1.9, yeah, so, nope. No. So yeah, I like this pod. I like this pod, but unfortunately I need to land this thing and then take off again. And we'll put that back. And then we need to dock. Oop, no, go back. And because of that, this needs a little bit of love. I'm gonna play around with this a little bit though. Nope, that was wrong. That was wrong. Go there. And this goes there. And that goes there. And now the Kerbal pod's in the middle. I don't know. At this point, I'm just screwing around. Give me a minute to fiddle about with this. I keep doing that because I keep thinking the command pod is in charge, and it's not. Yeah, give me a minute to fiddle about with this so I'm not wasting your guys' time. And I'll see what I can come up with, and then we'll go out and we'll test it, because that seems like the logical, intelligent thing to do. So that is what we're going to do. So I will be right back in just a moment. Alright, everybody, I did a little bit of fiddling, and I think we found what we needed. So we're going to go with a bump, a very tiny bump, nothing special, nothing great, nothing wonderful, just a teeny tiny bump. We're going to go ahead and drop one of these on top, and then we go over here. And I realized something about KSP. If you notice now it's starting to lag a little bit, I don't know if it's a memory leak or if it's just eating up all of my RAM, but basically the longer I play KSP, the more it becomes, which, you know, I guess is the same for any game, but just so you guys know, that's why it's like super smooth sometimes and then super like crap other times. Whether that's the same thing out in space, I have no idea, but I do know that that is what is occurring right here in the VAB. So alright, we'll put that on that side, and then we need a GPS unit just for fun, just so I have one on hand. Come on. Come on. Yeah, so yeah, after a while, after a little bit of testing and stuff, it tends to flip out. And it's just the way it goes. But it is still an alpha build. We have to be intelligent. We have to remember that this is not a full release game. This isn't even a beta release game. This is an alpha release game, and so the fact that it's even working at all and in such splendorous manner is a good thing. So no complaining. Alright, we'll put that on top, and then we put this on top of that. Like so, right? Okay, so everybody knows that this is what we had before, and you're like, yeah, KB, that's what we had before. What about it? Well, figured out what kind of fuel tank we want to put underneath this thing. I did. Because I'm a genius, and you know how us geniuses are. We're geniuses. Duh. Actually, there are a couple of things I want to do. We need this, for one. And then I think I went too far. Yes, I did. We need this for the other. Okay. So we put that right there, so you know we're going to put a fat tank on here. Yeah. Now, I'm debating on which fat tank, though. This is 2160. KB, what are you doing? Ah, making awesome happen is what I'm doing. Thank you very much. Alright, we're going to put this one here. Make 4. And then... Actually, no, I don't have to do that. I can just do one. I can just do one. One. Nope. And yes. Then you can do this. Bam. Okay, so that's got a thrust to rate ratio of 1.34 and a vacuum delta V of 5,896. Look at that. This thing by itself could get us to Dres. I know, right? So there is a preliminary, and I say preliminary because I tested this with one of the gigantic orange tanks, and the damn thing almost got into orbit. I know, right? It's totally awesome. So what you do, check this out. So we're going to say custom 1. We just click on these, and we're just going to say toggle. And I think that's all we need. Now, this isn't a complete ship. This is not a complete ship. But I want to show you guys this test, because I tested it once before and it worked, but we're going to test it again with this tank to see how it works. I'm going to save. And then I will see you guys out there on the launch pad, because this may look crazy, but honestly, I think this is what we need. I honestly do. So I'll show you. I'll see you guys out there on the launch pad, and we'll throw this thing up into the sky. Should I put some lights on there? Nah, we don't need no. Well, No, I think we'll need lights. Yeah, we'll need some lights. You and me and us and I will need some lights, and we'll probably need a battery too. So we'll toss a couple extra bits and bobs on here just for that, just like a battery, a couple of batteries. Let's see, a couple of batteries. Put some like big ass D cells on here, or a car battery. That way we don't, you know, get ruined mid-flight. We would hate for that to happen. We'd hate to be flying and then suddenly blah, blah, blah. Alright, these are 400. What are these other ones? 1,000? And they're honky, but they'll work. Let's see. It shouldn't. No, they might. Well, even if they do, here you go. There. Okay, so yeah, that'll work for batteries, and that's all we need. And then we need some lights so you guys can see, because it's dark outside. It's dark outside, and I'm sorry about that. Alright, put some lights here. Put some red lights up here, because I love the little red lights up here. They're funny. I know, but that's what I do. Alright, and we'll put some white lights down here, just for, you know, center purposes. Okay, so we have some lights on it, and we have some stuff, and we have some tests. So I will see you guys out there on the launch pad, and we will test this guy out. So I'll see you there. Alright, everybody, here we are out on the launch pad, ready to rock and roll. Sort of. Alright, so there's our lights, so you guys can see. I don't know if you can see the rest of it, but there you go. Now, what we do is we do this. We hit 1 to toggle those wonderful B9 cockpit pack VTOL engines, then we throttle up, and we launch. Now, it isn't perfectly stable. Okay, so this one's a little bit heavier than the last one was, so we probably won't make it into orbit this time. But the fact that we were able to take off and fly like this is great, because that means that on Dres, where the gravity is so much lighter, we can take off and fly without draining all of our fuel. So we won't get 100% of the fuel tank back to the ship, but we will get a lot of it back to the ship, and that is a great thing, because that's what we need. We just need to get a ton of it back. Now, I thought about using the gigantic orange tank, as I said, but I'm thinking that maybe the gigantic orange tank might be too much, and the whole thing may flop over. And we don't need the whole thing flopping over, because that basically means this will be a completely wasted ship, and that's not what we want. So we are a little bit heavier because of the batteries and everything on here. It won't need that many batteries when we're out in the space place, because the sun will be there for us, and we'll put a smaller battery on there, because these batteries are pretty hefty as it is. So yeah, so with an initial rating of 1.19, that would probably give it a rating. I think that the Pinhead had a rating of like 9 something when we were coming to the surface with the 4 nuclear engines. So that means this thing will have like a rating of like 20 or 30. Or probably not 20 or 30, but it'll be pretty high. Which means we won't have to use nearly as much fuel. And it will be in a vacuum, so we'll be using this Delta V rather than this one. So yeah, we're up to 6,000 meters already, excuse me. And the smoke, unfortunately, does still kick the crap out of our system there. But we'll have some RCS on here and everything else, and we'll probably just end up landing right here on the tin, right there on the bottom. If not, we may put some landing legs on it for stability, that kind of thing. Like I said, it's the big orange tall tank, we would definitely need landing legs for stability, so we will cope with that when we cope with that. But as a test run, this thing looks like a pretty good, very decent, very basic design. The engines are a little bit more expensive than I'd like, but as VTOL engines go, not bad. And of course you can do weird stuff like this. So yeah, not a bad design. Can use a little bit of work, and so because of that, we will absolutely make it work for us. Look at that, we're still got like 1657, and our apsis is like 17. So yeah, we are fine. We are good to go. This is not a problem. This will be a wonderful little ship. So I will see you guys probably back in the VAB, or possibly around Dres. Yeah, I'll see you guys back in the VAB with a completed version. And then I'll see you guys around Dres when we try to get it to work proper. So I'll see you guys there. Alright everybody, so here it is. The final one. I just went out and tested these landing gear, and they work. I did it again. I'm doing it again. And you guys are going to catch me. You're going to be like, KB, guess what you keep forgetting? It would be completely pointless to try to get out there into the space place. Get all the way out there, and then realize that you don't have the bits and bobs you need. There. Alright, so this is basically going to be the ship, I think. It's heavy, it's 32 tons, but that's about the same as a lot of the other stuff, and most of that's fuel, so not bad. So the Kerbal can climb inside, he can pilot it. He can get up here using his RCS. He can get down here using, well, the ground. It's got the landing gear. It's got the 4 thrusters. It's got RCS tanks and everything else. I don't think it's missing anything important. Maybe... Really don't need a protractor on this, I don't think. Nah, we don't need a protractor. Well... With 5,304 Delta V, that might actually be enough to get us to Dres. Considering. So if that's the case, how about we put a protractor on here just in case? We'll do that. We'll put a protractor just right here, just in case. And that way, if this thing somehow is capable of getting us to Dres on its own, which would be totally awesome, we can just do that. So... I'm going to get a rocket under this thing as per usual, but instead of doing, well, as I've said in the previous video, instead of going out to Dres, or like going up to Kerbal orbit and then out to Dres and so on and so forth, I will just see you guys out in Dres, or if in case something goes horribly wrong, because those are the 2 most important things. So I will see you guys there. Alright everybody, here we are around Dres once again, and we're going to dock. Now I'm going to try to dock the end of this to the end of that. That is my goal. Whether or not that's actually going to happen, I don't know, but that is my goal. So what we're going to do is, I just brought us a little bit closer. I don't have SAS on here, so we have to be very careful. I also don't know if it's capable of, like, if it'll spin. We really didn't have a chance to test whether or not it's even. It doesn't look like it is. It does look like it turns a little bit. So it's not going to be 100%, and we're okay with that, I suppose. We're just going to have to cope with it the best we can. Whoop. Actually, I should turn off, because for rotation, I really don't need RCS on. Alright, so there's that. We'll just thrust forward a little bit, and to the right a little bit. There you go, just like that. And then I think you can still rotate even with RCS. Yeah, okay, so even if my RCS is off, I can still rotate a little bit, which is fine. Like I said, not 100% sure how this is going to work. Looks like our closest approach distance is 7 meters. I'm not 100% sure I'm happy with that number. Probably not happy with that number, so let's back it off a little bit. There it is. Alright, and we'll go down a little bit. Actually, it's pretty stable. It doesn't really turn that much, which is nice. There we go. There it is. Alright, we're going to come in kind of close, which we're okay with. Rotate just gently a little bit. Just like that. Kind of spin us in a little bit. So this is where we're basically going to dock this little guys right here on the end, I think, from now on. If we can. Alright. It's the safest place to dock. It's also the best place, so ships won't be docking at this end. Shouldn't be docking at this end. Not 100% though, you know, don't know. About to find out. Oop, wow, this thing doesn't take a lot at all, does it? Alright, down a little bit. We need to rotate just slightly. Yeah, we really do need to rotate. So we're getting kind of close. We're getting good. We're doing okay. We're not perfect, but we're doing okay. Alright, straighten us out as much as possible so we're not all wobbly when we get in there. Good. Good. Alright. Now to thrust. We should thrust forward a little bit, I think. Just a little bit, just in case. Alright, still need to turn. We're still not straight, so we have to do this. Come on, little buddy. You and me. We can do this. I'm trying to 3D this, is what I'm trying to do. I'm not sure how well it's working. Okay, there's that. We good? We look good. Alright, RCS, and then, just a little thrust forward, I guess. There it is. Oop. Gotta go down. Just a little bit. We're uneven again, aren't we? Oh wow, this is tough. This one's a little tough, but I guess we're gonna have to eyeball it a little bit. Because where we want to go and where our thrust is pointing us are like two different locations, because that should be like dead on. But as you can see, it's really not. I'm not sure. Oh, that's why. Okay. So we're off a little bit. We are off a little bit. Rotate. Rotate, 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 rotate. That way. Yeah, so we're off a teeny tiny bit. I wonder if chase cam would probably be better. Let's find out when we're about to smash into the thing. Okay. Alright, so we're good there. There we go. Yeah, so I'm just trying to dock this thing, and it's very difficult, strangely enough. It actually flew out here on its own. I didn't have to attach this to anything. It actually flew out here all by its lonesome, and I'm very proud of that. I'm actually very proud of that. I'm just a little concerned about the flight characteristics is all. Alright, so we want to back off and move right. I guess we can do that, kind of cheat a little bit so we can get a better view. Hoop, hoop. Whoop, physics. Physics. Alright, so there's that, and then we just want to thrust forward and down a little bit. How straight are we? Oh, okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I don't know, all this weird flying has kind of screwed me up a little bit. Just a little bit that way, and that way. And there we go, that should be good. Should be good, I say it with a little bit of concern, because it might not be. We'll give it a shot. Can't get much better than that, right? Plunk. Is that good? Hey, look at that. So connect, come on. Come on, little guy, there it is. Alright, so there's our refueling ship. It stands Kerbal, so we can't use it yet. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Frame rate, there we go. Okay, so there's our refueling ship. We got some fuel in here, and look at this. It showed up here with that much fuel left. I know that's not a lot, but that's flying from Kerbal orbit all the way to out here. I know, right? Totally awesome. And then we can do this. And that's just for show, because that really doesn't that really doesn't move the engines out of the way or anything, but that's just for show. So here's our ship, and then when we get down there, we can put the gear out. And I tested the gear on the landing pad, and the gear are actually pretty hefty. I dropped it, and they hit the landing pad at about 3 meters a second in Kerbal gravity, and the thing stood up just fine. So apart from landing on very poor ground, we should be okay. Yeah, this thing turns funny. Its left and its right are really odd. And for that reason, I'm not even going to bother trying to fix it. I'm just going to do that. So there it is. There's our start. There's our first. So I think this base, let's see, we have our miner, we have our fuel tank and our docking station, and we have our refueling truck. So I'm thinking that this base is done. Now the base is done, but that doesn't mean our project is done. Now, with as much as I cut out of this video, because I didn't put a lot in there, but we did put this together and test it out a little bit, so I think this video has been long enough. So we will get to the more important, the scarier, the more psychotic stuff, yeah, in the next video. So once again, I would like to thank you all for joining me, 4 Kilobytes Short, on this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program with Kerbal Space Adventures. And I will see you next video.